Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. This show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. Gray Media, Ontario's premier social media management, marketing, and content creation company. And REM Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And hey, while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching program. Today's episode is number 222. He's been investing in real estate for over 6 years, has multiple rental properties, a renovation company, and he's a full-time real estate agent for Exit Realty. He was awarded top listing agent for North America in both 2021 and 2022. He has received a series of accolades and designations, including Exit Realty's highest honor, the Triathlon Self-Made Man, in October of 2022. For Exit calendar year of 22, he took over 217 listings and did over 232 transaction ends. At the young age of only 26 years old, he has his eyes set to expand his investment portfolio in both the United States and Canada and keep helping his clients with their real estate needs. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare Podcast is Exit Realty's top listing agent, Jeremie Fontaine. Jeremie,
hi, how are you?
Welcome to the Mindshare Podcast. Pleasure to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you making the time. It's buddy, I got to jump into this with you. 26 years old. Yeah. You seem to have a lot on your plate right now. I mean, closing, 232 ends last year on top of everything else you're doing in a day. I mean, I guess the question I got for you is like, what does a day in the life of you look like? What kinds of activities are you focused on every single day?
It depends. Obviously, every day is different. Some days are more relaxed than others. Obviously, I'm a single man show, which we'll talk about later on in this podcast.
Yeah.
But it usually starts around 7, 8, and it can get done at 11, 12, midnight, 2.
Just keep rolling, eh?
Day to day.
You got downtime in between any of that?
No. But when you love your job and love what you're doing, when you're in real estate, you do have, work to be done, but you do have some types of breaks in between. So I don't feel like I'm on the clock at all, to be frankly honest.
So talk to me about time blocking then. Like, how do you manage the days and everything you got to be doing? I mean, that's a lot that's going on. What we just said, renovation company, investments, the amount of transactions you're doing. You just mentioned one man show, which, let's talk more about that in a moment. But are you a time blocker? Like, how do you run your schedule in a day?
Well, I have a paper agenda, and that's my favorite tool. I like to see everything in a broad span. I actually don't use my phone. The only time I'll use my phone is to set reminders to put something in my paper agenda. That's my lifeline. If I wouldn't have that, I'd be pretty lost. I just like having everything on paper, and I have an hourly agenda for everything with important tasks, etc. And I try to target the important tasks in the morning or what needs to be done, and the rest a bit of fly by night.
No, okay, cool. Okay, so hold on. So it's all done by pen and paper.
Mm-hmm.
You've got times attached to things that need to be done.
Yep.
Okay, and then a lot of that heavy lifting is done in the morning, as you said.
Well, I try to keep the most important tasks for the days, depending on what it is. If it's paperwork, I try to keep for the evenings because most of the lawyers, banks, etc., are closed. And usually after 5, 6, the phone doesn't ring as much. So that's where I put all my downtime to focus on my personal growth, etc., personal projects I don't necessarily require.
Now, like a lot of that stuff in the mornings, though, is that again, like the heavier lifting, the priorities, things of that nature. How do you actually determine what is going to be a priority for your day? When do you do that? Do you do that the night before? Do you do that?
I usually do that the night before. I tend to mark on my closing important dates the second I know them in the calendar, so I can work my way around them. But once it's blocked off, there are some things that can wait a bit compared to others. But whatever is a priority gets targeted first, 100%.
Right. But again, is that like dealing with like listings, or is that doing phone calls? Is that follow-ups? Is that
follow-ups I'll do throughout the day, depending on my client's schedules, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit challenging to do follow-up, for example, the day of a showing, because you're not always the one showing the property, right? So if it's another agent, then sometimes you you got to go email, etc. And you can only get feedback 24, 40 hours notice. So I put that in the side of my agenda. So I know that I need to give feedback for X, 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 and it needs to be crossed out sometime this week whenever I get the feedback. So the second I get it, I give them a call, give them the feedback, and we go from there.
So do you find you're running like a chicken with your head cut off throughout the days, or does everything seem pretty structured?
For me, it's structured. Other people would beg to differ, but in my head, it makes sense.
Now, is that other people around you, or is that just like other people just operating their business and watching the way you do yours?
No, most people understand. But then again, in real estate, it all depends, what type of lifestyle you want. You can work all the time, or you can have more of a 9 to 5. So I guess it depends on what stage of your life you're at and what type of business you want to run.
Right. And at 26, no kids at home?
No.
Okay. So, and you sort of already alluded to the fact that you're basically going like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to potentially 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning the next, sort of that night.
Yeah.
And that's like heavily focused on real estate all day, every day?
Heavily focused. Some days are more slower. Again, depending on the weather. Like, for example, today we had a bit of snow, so it's been a slow day. Phone hasn't been ringing crazy off the hook. I tend in the evenings to tackle the most I can. If I need to send paperwork or do whatnot, I send emails. My clients, hey, or I shoot them a text or give them a call. I just sent you this amendment. Can you sign? And I tend to do that all at night. So the next day, I'm focused because the day itself will bring in new leads, et cetera, et cetera. I can get a call, for example, in 20 minutes of a new listing. Well, I'll have to, take time, take that call, answer, et cetera. I could be out giving CMAs, et cetera. So obviously a closing takes place over a CMA. So I'll put the CMA or something of the sort whenever it's convenient for the potential seller. But I'm not going to move the closing inspection or anything of the sort, or home inspections, in order to fit a new client.
Okay, fair. So now tell me this, I asked you before we got on air, are you a hockey fan? You said no. Like, you're not a Leafs fan. Wait a sec. No. I should probably clarify that. Are you a hockey fan?
Not really, no.
Okay, cool. Then we'll just call you a Leafs fan anyways. That's
okay. Fair.
Well, outside of real estate, what else is happening? Like, forget about the investments and the construction or whatever, renovations, but like, are you into other stuff outside of real estate? And where I'm going with that is from like that enjoyment of life, that work-life balance. Is there something else that you're up to, or are you work all day long?
I'm work. But I do take times on the weekends. I try to tackle the most of my work days and heavy work days during the week to have a bit more downtime on the weekends. Lawyers are closed, banks are closed. So obviously you're not going to get those types of problematics coming up. Financing isn't approved. That's, a Monday issue. The bank is closed. So I tend to tackle everything that needs to be done during the week. And on the weekends, spend a bit more time with my friends and family.
And what kind of stuff do you normally do? Like, have you got like something you're involved in on a regular basis? And where I'm going for, like, are you involved with other people outside of, like, again, for me, I brought it up a few times, but I play hockey. I play hockey twice a week. I coach hockey. So I'm around a network of people within that ecosystem. Have you got something else you're doing outside of real estate that you're involved with people?
The entire friend group is pretty much people like me. So the conversation of business is always at the table, whether it be morning coffee or beers at night. It's business, growth, improvements, et cetera, what's going on. I'd say 90% of my friends are extremely business oriented or self-growth oriented, and that's who I choose to spend the most time with. So yes, we do other activities. We take small vacations here and there, but most of the time it's strictly business or improving, or even when we're having a beer or something of the sort, the conversation is, how should we do this? How could we improve this, etc. So I'd say most of my life revolves around business. That's kind of all I know.
Yeah. No, listen, you know what, though? They say that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Right. And it obviously seems like you're surrounded by a bunch of buddies of yours that maybe you've grown up with that are all pretty focused. And therefore, there's some very collaborative, powerful conversations being had to help you kind of get to that next place in your own personal business.
Yeah.
How long have you been selling real estate for?
6 years now. I've had my license for 6 years. I've been active for roughly 4.5, I'd say.
So if we go back, let's say 4.5 or even 6 years ago, and I said, what was the first thing you did when you got into this business to try to build your business? What was the first thing you did? Like, you got licensed. Now what?
Bought my first rental property.
So you didn't even actually go after clients right now. You just went in and bought a rental property.
Originally, I got my license to buy investment properties. My mentor that was coaching me, that was like, why would you be paying commission to another agent? If you're going to be buying and selling your own buildings, you may as well get paid yourself. And he had a valid point. So that's why I got my license. And originally it was only for that. But I did one transaction, and then one transaction turned into 2, and then 4, 8, 16, 32. And before you know it, it was a full-time gig.
And was that just when you say 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, was that you doing investments for yourself?
No. That was transactions, like real estate transactions. Right?
Okay. Gotcha.
So buddy found out I had my license. He's like, oh, I'm shopping for a home, sold him a home. Then he referred me to his buddy. And before you knew it, it was kind of a little snowball effect of, I'll be honest, my plan in life wasn't to become a real estate agent. That was nowhere near my intentions or anything of the sort. I never dreamed to be a real estate agent, but it's become my life and I love it.
So what was the plan, to be an investor?
Yeah, 100%.
Gotcha. So where did the dollars come from? There was obviously stuff you were doing prior to getting in that gave you some cash flow behind you to be able to go out and buy those investments.
Stocks, part-time jobs, etc. I was studying finance at university. I was 3.5 years in, and then I dropped out to do this. So that was kind of a shocker for the family.
Yeah.
Black sheep moment, but panned out.
Interesting. And then the investments themselves, is this like multifamily? Is this
multifamily? You said this was podcast number 222?
Yes, sir.
Fun fact, my first rental property, the address is 222.
Go figure, man. Yeah. That's fun.
And the meaning behind that, and my friend told me the other day, she's really into all that stuff, is right place, right time.
That is cool. Okay. Interesting. So you sort of fell into that, and then I guess right place, right time is kind of how the real estate part of the business built out.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you had mentioned off the top, forgive me, I don't even know if we were on air when you said this to me, but I'll ask the question, just kind of let you expand on that. I mean, again, dude, 232 transactions in one calendar year can keep an individual incredibly busy.
Yeah.
Do you have a team, an admin, anybody helping you?
No, I'm a lone wolf.
A lone wolf, altogether.
Altogether.
So how are you managing? How are you managing all that?
I did hire a friend of mine to help me with my Christmas cards, but apart from that, I'm a lone wolf.
So you're talking deal processing, servicing clients, doing follow-ups, making phone calls, generating new opportunities. There's nobody there helping you with scheduling. There's nobody there helping you with paperwork. This is you, yourself, and you.
Yep. For me, it works.
You've probably made me speechless for the first time in 222 episodes.
For me,
that is crazy, man.
The system is in my head. I know, for example, my listings, I'll prep them the night before, 11, 30, 12. And when you do constant, repetitions of remarks, script, they become such a custom that it doesn't take it. I can write a full, 1,500 character script in 3 minutes, completely detailing the homes, the neighborhood, etc. It's become so accustomed. I know what people are looking for based on comics, etc. So I can put a 10 out of 10 description in under 3 minutes.
Right. And that's just through repetition and consistency.
Consistency. Follow-ups, a lot of people, our office puts everything in Dropbox. So I'm able to check the Dropbox for all the properties, check the conditions, see when things are due. But I tend to keep every deal in my head. I know, for example, Leicester Street conditions are due next Friday. And
How do you keep every deal in your head when you're doing that many deals?
I just do. I don't know. It just makes sense. They get stored.
Hey, listen, you know what? And I look, I don't want to take away from that. It's funny. I was having a conversation with a coaching client of mine this morning. We were on the line and we were talking about this. And my father was a broker owner for the first sort of 20 years of my life.
Yep.
So I grew up in a real estate office. I grew up, following my dad around and being in the car as a young kid. And, he'd drive around the neighborhood and get a sense of like every sign that was up, whether it was sold, whether it was, for sale. he would understand everything. And it's like, try pulling the wool over this guy's eyes when it comes to like what's on the market right now. He'd know everything about every property. And then if there was a new subdivision, he knew what all the floor plans look like. And it's, I think that you gotta have a love, you gotta have a passion for what you do for a living to be able to retain all of that.
Yeah.
You've also got to have there's got to be some just raw talent in there, that kind of goes, this is just who I am as an individual and how much I really care about my business. So knowing that stuff, I mean, again, I don't want to take away from any of the fact that you've got it in your head. I think that shows the passion and the drive that you have for the business, and obviously is evidence to why the growth continues to happen for you.
Yep.
So I'd asked you off the top there about like, what's the first thing you did? And you said you went and bought a rental property, an investment property.
Yep.
And then you fell into starting to do real estate. When we look at where you're at today, where does most of your business come from? Is it from people you know or people that you don't know?
Business by referral.
By referrals.
Most people I know, etc. I've grown to have a lot of listings, so just exposure, etc. So oftentimes it's just sign calls. Hey, I see you're selling everything, so may as well come sell mine. It's a comment I get often.
So this is a lot of like, again, either repeat referral business or you've got the signs that are up there.
Your face is everywhere, so you must know what you're doing. So I'm over.
So during your days then, when we talk about all the things that you're doing and the priorities, are you very database focused? Are you more transactional? If I let me break that one down a little bit further. When I talk about database focused, I'm talking like you've got a contact list of X amount of people. And throughout a day, we're constantly just kind of working through that contact list. Or there's a lot of agents out there who will have their face everywhere. And when somebody comes in and does a deal with them, they'll do the deal. They won't really have a referral program in the background to kind of cultivate more opportunities from that person. They'll just move on to the next person. And it's always about, chasing leads, generating new leads, prospecting with people versus, again, kind of going after that base. You've already mentioned referral based, but again, what is your focus more? Are you looking at like that person you did a deal with 4 years ago and saying, I'm still going to stay in touch with them?
Rarely. I obviously stay in touch with them, but I don't even use them as a referral base or a farming base. I've never done that. I've just done the best of a job I could. Obviously, you can't please everyone, but I'd say 90% of my clients are satisfied. And then from there, it's just a business by referral. They do the talking, et cetera, et cetera. My aunt is doing this, but I've always been there after the fact. Even though the home is sold, I make it sure that if they have any questions, concerns, that even the transaction is done, I'm still here. And most of my clients have always been repeat clients over the years, et cetera. Family members, I get calls even 3 years after the deal is closed. Oh, my son's looking for a home. We absolutely want. You need to help him, et cetera. So,
have you got a referral program in place that you run then?
No.
So there's nothing going on. Emails, newsletters.
I have a monthly newsletter.
Okay. So you do have a monthly newsletter. Is that by email or direct mail?
Email.
Email. And that's going out once a month to your client base.
Yep.
You making phone calls to that client base on a regular basis?
My lines are always open, but not.
But you're not calling them. They could be calling you, but you're not calling them.
I've always made it clear with them that they can reach out, and most of my clients still do reach out. They're going to call, what are interest rates now? Well, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of doing that. What's the market? Some people just, have a chat, but I've developed a form of friendship with my clients where when I see them in the grocery store, it's just like when we're selling the home, good old days, good old laughs. But apart from that, I don't necessarily harass them or give them anything unless they ask me to. If someone says, okay, well, I'll plan on moving in a year or so, then yes, I'll definitely keep you, in the loop of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Have you got a system for that? Like if I was talking to you, I saw you at the grocery store buying apples, and I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing something. Maybe not this year, but like next, kind of maybe in the fall or next spring. What would you do with that? Mental note, like write it down somewhere, stick me in a process.
And the market is such fast paced. We don't know what a year from now is going to look like. So I can give you stats, but I wouldn't be doing you a favor expecting, I can get you this for your home. It really needs to be, especially in the past 3 years, closer to what's been on the market. Because if you look at the market now, even compared to 4 months ago, it's a totally different dog. And it's a cap from what it was last year.
Yeah. Right. But again, but if I tell you that I'm interested in doing something, how do you I guess where I'm going is you're doing all this business, right? There's a lot of opportunity there. And I'm already looking going, if you haven't got a proper referral program in place, I think you could double your business in a year just by having a referral program in place. And I'm talking just more keep in touch, building more mind share with your audience. Not that you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
I see opportunity there. And I guess the question I've got is we get so many agents, and I guess this is where this is coming from, right? We got so many agents that don't do a good enough job of staying in touch with their database. And then what ends up happening is somebody on the database or who should have been on the database ends up going to work with someone else just because this agent wasn't in touch. So I'm looking going, okay, you've got this opportunity right now where you're meeting, you've got a friend, you got a colleague, you got somebody that knows you, likes you, and trusts you. Maybe you've done business, maybe you haven't, but they're looking at you, they're having a conversation with you, but it's 6 months, a year out. How are you, Jeremie, making sure that you get that deal versus somebody else? Are you doing anything specific or are you just there?
I'm honest. Listen, I tell the clients what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And that's always been my policy. Obviously I get paid by commission. If I could sell all your homes for $1 million, I definitely would. If I could sell it for $100 million, I would. It's not possible. Here's what the market is telling you. There's no BS with me. And that's the thing. If I'm not getting any showings for your home, you're going to know. I'm not going to sugarcoat, well, this person called. No, you're not getting any showings. If your home smells like cat piss, you're going to know. Yeah. Simple as that. You hire me to sell your home, not to be your friend.
Yeah, I like that. That's fair. Okay, so again, then how are you making sure you get my deal in 1 year from now?
I'll follow up. When it comes closer to time, etc., I may send you some properties and I'll keep an eye out for you. I may even set up a portal. I may even say, okay, well, it's important for you to also know what's been going on in the market. So, and I've done this for multiple people. Even though you're not ready to buy now, I'm going to send you samples of what's being listed with your criteria. So you're educated as to what the prices are going, the current rates. So when it comes time to buy, you won't be shocked if I tell you the price is X or et cetera, and you'll know when you'll be getting a deal.
So now is that you kind of just marking that down in your book and remembering, hey, I know I spoke to David. David might be interested in doing something, so I'm going to send David some stuff today?
Pretty much.
Or do you set it up to be
we have an auto email system that once it's done, it's done. And I'll most likely add you to my newsletter so you get, an update market every month. But apart from that, if you're only ready to buy in a year and a half, I'm not going to harass you.
Fair.
So many agents are after people and following them and calling them every week. Listen, I'm not on your toes. Here's my professional services, and this is me. And I often tell people, reach out when you're ready. And I'd say at least 75% of people do.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. So what would you tie that back to? You already used the word, and I loved it. You said honesty. What would you tie that back to if we said why are 75? Let's just say 75%. Why are 75% of people calling you back in a year from now? And again, I don't want to take away from the honesty. I don't want to take away from the fact that you're a professional. You do a great job out there. You've obviously built yourself a good reputation. I don't want to discount the email that's going out monthly, but I might say if that's all we're doing right there, it's almost like we're going, hey, look, I'm here. I do a really darn good job. I'll keep in touch with you once a month through an email, but I'm not going to hound you. When you're ready, call me. And you're locking this stuff in.
That's exactly it. Because I tell people the reality of things, And I tell you, the price I give you now may be different in a year. You need to call me back in a year. This price is fixed for at this moment in time. The market does change. So you can't quote me on a price I gave you 2 years ago, And based on the time, based on the interest rate, based on factors we don't control, the economy, etc., everything will be related or directly changed from that. So I just educate the people on what the real situation is, how it works working with realtors, and then I'll leave the rest to them. I'm not a perfect fit for everyone, but here's what I do. And this is how we run, and this is how we operate. This is a system. So this is how it runs if you want to buy real estate. Here's what I'm willing to do. But if you're only ready to buy in 2 years, there's no point in going to see homes.
And I don't disagree with you on that. I would say that there's a lot of agents out there that might go, and I don't get me wrong, I would say to people, put them into the database. Stay in touch with them, on a consistent basis. It doesn't mean heckle them every single day, but stay in touch, what we call build the mind share with them, so that when that moment comes that they're ready to actually pull the trigger and do something, they are going to come back to you versus, let's say, that next agent that might have been more aggressive. Not to say it's the right way, but just There's going to be agents out there that are going to be like, I'm not letting that deal go. I want to continue to press them for that. It seems like you're a little bit more laissez-faire on that. Not lack of care, just laissez-faire in terms of I'm not going to pull on the coattails all the time. I'm here. When you're ready, I will be here.
I'm just going to pause you 1 second. Just a little emergency. Just shows how real estate goes.
Yeah.
I've gotten 4 calls. I just need to send something.
See, so as he's doing that, and I ask him how he's running his day, and he's a one-man show, this is the type of stuff that happens. Now, I would say or throw it out there that there's a mindset around being proactive versus reactive when we're out there and we're doing things that we don't want to necessarily just jump and do every single time somebody needs something, because it's going to throw us off our day and what we need to get done.
Yep.
At the same time, too, sometimes there are fires that need to be put out. Could be a back and forth on a multiple. It could be an agent. There's a client that's just reached out on something that needs to be dealt with. So there's going to be those times that we got to bend a little bit. But again, a one-man show, you got a lot going on, man.
A few.
Yeah.
But for example, that may annoy some people. But for me, just become a part of reality, right? I just extinguish a fire.
Yeah.
Live here. Something that couldn't wait. Most of the items could wait, but when I see the phone is buzzing, I have a look, etc. There's an emergency, I'll take care of it, but it takes 30 seconds to deal with it. So the way I see it is, for me, it's much more proactive for me to just do it than to call my assistant and say, deal with it, because I just dealt with it right now.
Right.
But that also depends on your lifestyle and what you want to do. Some people only want, they have a wife, they have kids, they have friends that don't work as much as they do, and they have other things to do. But when your entire friend group is like that, it just becomes a custom.
Again, this goes back
to these types of things, the faster and better you become at them. So what could have taken me 10 minutes 6 years ago takes me 20 seconds now.
So surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah. And the fact that because I'm a one-man show, I'm totally aware of every aspect of my business at any given time. So a client doesn't call me and I don't have to say, wait, let me call Bob. And then Bob doesn't pick up and you're playing telephone trying to figure out the solution or the problem. And I know everything. So most of the time my clients call me, and I'll say it's already been taken care of.
Okay. So here's a question that comes up then when you say that. If I said to you, what advice would you give any agent who thinks that they need to build a team or partner with somebody else to have success in this business?
Well, they're not branding themselves. They're not branding themselves. Okay. I'm not against teams or anything of the sort. Maybe in different markets, they're much more proactive than here. But the reality of the situation is a lot of people find comfort, or they're not maybe comfortable going out there, putting their name alone. So when they're 2 or 3, it's like, hey, it's us. And that's great. Some teams work great, but I just feel like most of the time, one person on the teams ends up cutting the slack for all of them.
Yeah, I would. I guess I loaded that question up because I could probably talk for about an hour on that whole topic right there. But you're proof to the fact that it's not necessary to have a big team. And I will say one thing right there, and for everybody tuned in, whenever I look at hiring an agent, I want that particular agent. I don't want their team members. And that's fine if you got people in the background to help you with some stuff, but I want you. And that's why I hired you. And you better be the one showing up. You better be the one making the phone calls. You better be the one connected with me. And if that's the way it goes, then that's the experience I've been looking for. And again, that's why you got the job.
Right.
So it seems, Jeremie, you obviously live very much like that. So as we talk about providing a good experience, or pardon me, being honest, which again, I think that throughout that, a proper experience comes to light for your clients. When we look at the aspect of generating so much business, not only were there 232 ends, but I think 217 of those were listings.
Yeah.
What's the trick to securing so many listings? And I think that especially when we look at the past 2 years, we know listings were the gold. Now things, obviously, I don't want to say things are changing. Listings are always the gold. You're in good control there. How are you going ahead and doing that, though? That's a lot of listings on its own, not just buyers or not just investors coming to, to put in money, but actual listings. Is there a trick to that? Would you say there's anything there?
Well, there's no trick, but a fact, listings are survival.
Yeah, fair enough. Everybody wants them, but you're getting them. You're getting a lot of them.
It's business by referral. And so many people try to, and how could I put this? So many people aren't themselves.
Tell us more about that. What do you mean?
No, well, so many people try to mold something or someone that they're completely not. So many people try to copy another agent and say, oh, it doesn't work for me. No, because we all have a different set of personalities. You have to realize your personality, how you interact. So yes, no, I've done things my way, and my way has worked. There is a false claim that success looks at, you look at success and people assume it's one line. You got to wake up at 3, go to the gym, blah, blah. That's not true. I know people that wake up at 10, but, are more productive until 3 a.m. It doesn't define, but society has this thing of, oh, if you don't do this, you don't do that. So many people try to mold in those spaces and they don't fit. And that's why they're not successful. They're not themselves. They don't fit. They're not being relatable. So when you're not yourself, you're basically acting, and people can see straight through that.
So hold on. Are you telling me that taking a picture in front of a Lamborghini dressed in a nice suit, which the Lambo's not mine, and the suit I just bought, and I do this little look up to the sky, that's not going to secure me more listings?
No, not at all. But you have to realize, and that's the issue, okay? But
dude, talk to me about that, because I know when it comes to social, hold on, let me just say one thing. When it comes to social media, and this was something that Joyce Perron told me, I need you to talk to Jeremie, because he's doing a ton of business. I don't remember exactly how she worded it, but he's not all over social media. He doesn't and I know that you've got your stuff up there, but you haven't got this and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but there isn't some fake presence from you on social. It is what I took from it, your business. Your business. That's it. And I'm not downplaying that in any way. So, I don't want you to take that the wrong way, or anybody listening to take that the wrong way. In fact, what I'm trying to do is almost overemphasize the fact that, to what you just said, being real about who you are, doing it your way, and definitely making sure that you're not putting on some facade in front of people that paints you to be one guy when you're really another guy.
100%.
Talk to me about that for a second.
I feel like that's the issue. It's not that there are so many posers. People will pose in front of a car and say this and have this suit. Listen, if it were up to me, I would show up to conventions and meetings in a hoodie. 100%. And I've done so before. I've been told to go change, but the reality is you don't need that. That's not a byproduct of your work. When people say, oh, well, you don't have this, you don't have that. No, but I have the numbers to prove what I did. And that's enough for me. And once you get to a certain level, it's not about having the Lamborghini or whatnot, because once you can afford it, it becomes a lot different. You have these goals and et cetera, but I'm not going to go spend $250,000, $300,000 on a car so people can say, oh, Jeremie Fontaine sells real estate. He has a Lamborghini. It's a stupid investment. And it can have the opposite effect on a lot of people. This is what people don't realize. So if, for example, you're in charge of a bank and you pull up in a LaFerrari or Ferrari or Bugatti, well, the people with very minimal deposits in the bank will say, well, obviously we know where the money is going. So it can actually have a contrary effect to what people are looking for. I don't say you need to be professional for a certain clientele, etc. And that if you're going to list a $3 million home, you shouldn't show up in a rusted Honda Civic, which took me a while to learn. But it's the reality of you need to adapt your clientele. It's not about doing the show, etc. And that's, again, coming back on the fake, how could I say, situation where people think success is, right? They see a Lamborghini, they assume successful. I see a Lamborghini and I think to myself, okay, well, he potentially can afford it, but he can also borrow all that money.
Well, that's the other
thing. It doesn't define success. It doesn't mean you're a millionaire, You can buy a $200K car if you want. You're going to be paying like crazy, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're successful. And people assume that materialistic things grant them success and grant them status, which in my opinion is not the thing. Not that I think you should be, depriving yourself of things like that. I just feel like there's too many people reaching for those goals and acting like posers on lines and, not faking their numbers, but, putting this and doing that, or look at me. Listen, your numbers talk, and they're much more powerful than you standing in front of a Mercedes.
So what's your take on the whole fake it till you make it?
How can I put this? You need to present.
You put it any way you want. This is the Mindshare podcast.
Okay. Well, I believe in manifestation. I believe everything that happened to me was due to manifestation. I'm a strong believer in that. I've completely basically isolated myself from anyone that was negative, or I spent extremely little time with people that are negative. Mindset has become a big thing. I'm not perfect in every aspect, but I try to master or surround myself with people that may have some of the skills I'm missing so I can learn off of them. Fake it till you make it has an extent. I feel like too many people are spending more time editing a picture of them in the Mercedes than actually doing the work.
Yeah.
You know, when you manifest things, opportunities will come, but you need to do the work. It's not winning the lottery. It's 18-hour work days for the past 5 years. It's sleepless nights. It's stress. It's taking on risk. But people don't realize that. People just see success and they say, "Oh, you know, he has a Mercedes, he has a BMW, etc. He's made it." No, that's false. And so many people will go into debt and get these things and say, "Oh, look at me, I made it," while not doing the work. I'm not saying you can't fake it, but do the work, folks. That's where most people miss the entire boat. They think that buying that Mercedes and faking it without putting any work, that work will magically, fall into their lap and they'll become a multi-millionaire and retire by 35. That's not the reality. Life will give you the ingredients you need to bake the cake. But the fun thing is, once you know how to build a cake, if you want 2 cakes, you just have to double your ingredients. And if you want 3 cakes, you triple your ingredients.
I like that. Well said, man. No, I like the answer. I love the fact that you brought up the manifestation. I love the fact that you brought in, the way I coined the term of like, put in the effort, you get the results.
Yep.
Right. We've got a lot of people that, again, you just said it incredibly well. They'll buy the stuff, but the numbers speak for themselves. And that's something that everybody really needs to pay a lot of attention to around how they're running their business, is that the numbers really do speak for themselves. And, some folks will look at the numbers, Jeremie, and think that, well, my views on my video or my followers, right? And if I've got more followers, if I got more views, I'm going to be more credible to other people. And I also believe there's an aspect of this industry that is very focused on realtors chasing other realtors and trying to copy what they're doing rather than putting in that time and effort into actually just going out there and doing good real estate business.
And that's the issue, is people don't brand themselves. They try to brand themselves as one agent when they're not being themselves. They're not being true to themselves, their own talents. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, including mine, but I'm not trying to copy or be someone else's agent.
Right.
I can't be no one but me.
Yeah.
And that's what I attribute all my success to, is I've became real. I've been honest with my clients, and I've built a reputation like that. It doesn't matter if I have 1 million, followers, or if I'm in Montreal, Toronto, New York, or in the small city of Richibucto, Moncton, Dieppe. None of that matters, because I've branded myself, and the numbers speak for themselves. I don't need a Bugatti in front to get a listing.
Right.
Because listen, this is my work. And once you get to that level, you'll realize that there's 2 different types of, not success, but success is not always, career driven, etc. It's family, it's friends. But I do believe that a lot of people miss that boat, and they neglect certain aspects of their lives chasing one goal without realizing that the key is a balance.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Are you a goal setter?
100%.
Like you do this every year?
Oh, and I revise them weekly.
Weekly. Okay, cool. See, I'm a daily guy, but like most people, we know are annually. So weekly to me, it's still.
Weekly, I do my. So basically, I set long term, short term, and medium, and then I work my way down from my long terms to what do I need to do on a daily. But like I said, even the people I live with, we have the same mindset. So we're there on Friday nights or Thursday nights, and we're doing our goals. We're all in the kitchen or the living room, and everyone's doing their goals and sharing their goals. And we're doing that to keep each other accountable. All of us want to get better. And I think that's the issue, is most people don't surround themselves, or they get discouraged and say, "Oh, it's not working." Well, obviously not. If you've been doing it for 2 days, it's not going to work. It takes time. It's the compound effect. It's the little actions every day. But people just give up after 2 seconds and say, "Oh, it didn't work for me." And then they become indulged in this negativity of poor me, pity life. I can tell if an agent is going to be successful or not in 5 minutes. You just need to talk to them and the way they treat and talk about others and themselves.
Wow. Powerful right there. The way they talk about others is a big one. And I think when we talk about experience and honesty, a lot of times we see in this industry, again, a lot of agents chasing other agents online, trying to follow what the next person's doing. Oh, look, it worked for them. It's going to work for me. You've already alluded to the fact that it doesn't necessarily work like that. We see a lot of bullying going on, a lot of negativity in this industry. And again, what I'm taking from a lot of things you're saying is you're doing you. And from what I've seen from your social media and what I've heard from, again, folks that are colleagues of yours that are, there with you at the company, your social media is not a focus for you in a big way of trying to build up that brand, trying to build up that name. It's just kind of part of how you market a property.
Oh,
so it seems to me like you're not,
because I believe in face-to-face relationships and having direct contact with my clients. That's the most priority. It's over the phone. Right. I try not even to text. It's always, I want them to hear my voice, my expressions, etc. And I adapt myself to their personalities. Some people I know want to be called on a daily, and I'll call them on a daily, or they can call me on a daily. And some people, will say, well, call me when you have something. And if I call them, I'll bother them. When you know the personalities of the people you're dealing with, you can better tailor your service. But the issue is too many people focus on things that won't bring them results.
You mean like a dancing video?
Dancing videos, etc. There's a few things. It may work for their clientele, but in general, if you spend 24 hours making a cute little TikTok about yourself, it's great, but you also lost 24 hours of prospecting and doing work in the field. And a lot of people don't stay in the field. Or for me, what's been another huge culprit of my success is my surroundings, my management, the ownership, my colleagues here. Everyone has this same mindset. And I truly believe that this is why our office for the third year, if I'm not mistaken, was the highest grossing exit office in North America.
Nice.
Because everyone here rubs off each other. There's no competition. We don't backtalk each other. Whether we're fighting for listings, we don't even pay for listings. You say, oh, you went to the same one. Let's co-list it. Simple as that. They'll get there is no, and once you get to that level where everyone's leveling themselves up, you realize, your vision of, for example, selling 50 ends a year is nothing when you have someone here at the office closing almost 400. You're like, I could do that. What makes him different than me? And everyone's kind of keeping each other in a friendly competition of, oh, okay, even the agent that makes almost 400 ends, he's like, oh, okay, people are keeping up. So we're in a friendly competition where everyone gets along, and we have this family mindset that for me has brought almost everything to my career and success. It's really the environment you're in. You can't flourish as a plant if you're in a locked up storage room. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They need to, and success is a long, long road. People need to start looking at their environment. They may be doing all the right things, but they're not in the correct environment. Right. You can water the plant all you want, but if she's not getting sun, she's not going to grow.
Yeah. I think a lot of the onus on hiding behind a keyboard, staying in the Facebook or the social media worlds. Again, I'm not trying to downplay leveraging social to grow the brand, but I think there's a right way and a wrong way. I think that there's, when it comes to time that people are spending on these platforms, to understand what kind of return they're going to be getting, where's the importance? Like you already mentioned, you'd rather be voice to voice, belly to belly with your clients. To that, I would ask you and understand that your focus is not a daily focus on social media. So again, everybody understand 217, listings, 232 real estate transactions in one calendar year as a solo agent. And Jeremie is not spending his entire life on social media building up this brand. Now, as we talk about that, then I might say to you, and I think you probably just said this, but what channels are you leveraging for marketing? We talked about the email. Limited social. You mentioned you're doing a lot of phone calling.
Facebook.
What are you? Pardon me.
Facebook. I advertise all the listings there for the local population shares. MLS does the rest.
Are you an online lead gen guy?
I always check my phone.
Okay.
Return all my calls at the end of the day, no matter what, and all my texts and emails. So that is without missing a heartbeat.
Are you an online lead gen guy?
Nope.
What about flyers?
I've done flyers before.
But it's not something you do consistently?
Once a year.
If I drive around the city, am I seeing billboards of you everywhere?
No, I've never had a billboard.
So how do strangers know? Well, how do strangers find Jeremie Fontaine, or how does Jeremie find strangers?
Okay, so your car is broken down. You need a mechanic. Are you going to see that billboard and call that mechanic, or are you going to ask your friends who can repair my car?
You can ask your friends.
Not saying billboards don't work, but for the price tag and the efficiency they get, they're 0 to none. And once you have 217 listings, I have billboards in every front lawn.
Drop the mic. You know what, dude? I'm with you. I'm with you. And you said that follow-up is obviously something you're doing on a regular, as we just did that a moment ago, where you had to answer somebody. So you're focused on your clients. So again, what would you say your most effective marketing channels are?
Most likely Facebook. If we're talking
Facebook from a sense of like, because when I go to your Facebook, right, and we did this prior to getting on the show, I'm just seeing listings. I'm not seeing like lifestyle,
why would you need to see my
Jeremie's lifestyle.
Why would my lifestyle is not me selling homes. So many people say, "Oh, you should show your entire lives." Listen, you're a real estate agent. You're selling homes. No one necessarily wants to see what you have for breakfast. I'm not, bashing anyone that does that. Yep. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Hollywood media has influenced people in thinking you need to be this in order to be successful. And it's not true. However, you have to keep in mind that can also be depending on the markets. I'm not in Toronto, so it may be different in Toronto. But I know what works here in my market, in my niche, and it's not that. So I may have success doing this, but this all goes back to your environment. So maybe in Toronto, you have to do this. Maybe, it's not as, effective to just not have billboards, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I just feel like you need to know your market, need to know your area and what works best.
I think that's a great point right there, because I think that's something that everybody really needs to understand and internalize on a regular basis, is that, again, to grow our businesses, to grow our brand, it's about understanding who's your audience, right? Yep. Who are the people that you're speaking to, and what is it that they are looking for?
100%.
Right? Now, phone calls are your bread and butter. The signs on the lawns are your bread and butter. The experience that you provide to clients, the honesty you bring to the table, that's what you're relying on to grow your business.
Well, you have to be real.
Yeah.
And so many people are, people, you can tell when someone's being fake. You have to be real. You have to be relatable. People don't want, some of that. They're hiring you as a professional. They want honest opinions, honest answer. You have to be real. You can't be someone else you're not. And it shows when you're not. And I truly feel like those are the deciding factors when people, pick another agent or do another agent, or you say, oh, you may lose a listing. Well, how well did you relate to those people? Were you being your true self? This is what happens, because a lot of people will pitch not fake things, but, they'll put a mask on and act like someone they're not. And it's coming back to what I was saying earlier. It's irrelevant because people can smell right through you.
Yeah. Have you ever had a time where things are incredibly slow for you, or things are just not as there's just not as much action happening as you'd like? And if yes, how did you manage that side of the game for yourself when you're going from like this really high level of volume?
Let's be honest, 2021 was a crazy year.
Yeah.
If I could have one breakfast in the week, that was good.
Yeah.
If I had 4 hours of sleep in one night, it was good. So obviously last year, things changed. Things were less busy. However, I just had to modify my business. Instead of dealing more with listings, I started dealing with buyers and listings again.
But what did you do? Did you make more phone calls? Did you reach out to your database more? Did you run ads somewhere? Like, what did you do?
When a realtor inquiry or something came of the sort and they asked, is this property available? I didn't just reply sold. I replied sold, but or what are you looking for? Right. We can maybe in 2021, I didn't have time to do that.
Right.
It was sold to everyone. Send. Didn't have time to farm, etc. And it was hard to work with buyers because we had extremely low inventory, extremely low interest rates, which means demand was skyrocketing high. So when you had someone pre-approved for 300 and the home was going to 375, you could show that person 20 homes and they weren't getting any closer to getting a home. But now that we're more in a balanced market in the Greater Moncton area, it's much more easier for buyers out to get in the game.
So a bit more conversation with people, a little bit more probing, question asking, not just being one-word answers or quick replies, but this is trying to engage people in a conversation.
100%. And you have to keep in mind, in 2021, I was a complete listing agent.
Right.
You had very little time. The only buyers I had were the people that were buying my listings.
Right. But again, now that we've got buyers coming out, it's about probing. It's about asking.
If you look at
more questions, though.
Yeah, I'm back in the field. I'm showing homes, etc. And I just feel you need to tweak your business depending on the market.
Right. So what are you telling people now? Somebody says to you, you know, I'm just going to wait because I don't know about the prices. I don't know about the interest rates. I'm just going to wait. What are you saying to people about that?
Well, first of all, in 2020, we thought we had reached the peak of the market.
Right.
I remember people were, oh, it can't go up much higher than that. 2021. We don't know what's going to happen. Okay, we don't have a crystal ball. If we all had a crystal ball, all of us would be multi-millionaires and retired. Okay, the economy is this weird, beast. It can do anything. It could stabilize. It could go down. It could go up. No one knows for sure. We have indicators, but we don't know 100% what's going on and what's the reality of things. So I just tell them, yes, interest rates are high. However, prices compared to what they were 5 years ago are still up by a lot.
Yeah.
You had that home that was worth maybe 5 years ago, $85,000, that during the peak of COVID may have been worth $210,000. And now it's worth 75 or 80 and 180. I mean, 175, 180. And people are saying, oh, the market went down. No, the market is still up. There's corrections happening, but it's just like a stock. You can't time when to buy and sell an Apple share to maximize the profit, So when it comes to that, I tell people the market is still fairly active. We have low inventory, great time to sell. And even for buyers, things are still selling because here we're in a niche where most of the homes are still being purchased cash. The average home price is $289. It varies from $289 to I'd say $310, $315 a month in the Greater Moncton area. So we're still in a niche of a market where a lot of people pay cash or a good portion cash. So interest rates have little to very little effect on most of our demographic, the buyers, because they're financing maybe $150 at 6-7%, compared to if you're buying $1 million home in Ontario, you're putting $200K down, you're financing $800K at 6-7%. So yes, you're in a totally different bracket and ball game. But for the most part here, I encourage people, things always sell and people always buy. There's no way to perfectly time it, but we're not in a horrible market.
Yeah, I would agree with that right now. I don't think we're in a bad market whatsoever. Now, what would you say to any new agent that's getting into the business, let's say right now, or maybe that even got in over the past 2 years when things were ridiculously hot, and now they're sitting there going, I don't know what to do. They're looking for answers. What advice would you give to them?
Go back to the basics.
Back to the basics. Which you would break down as what? Make your phone calls?
Make your phone calls, do your follow-ups, go door knocking.
But I don't like door knocking. Door knocking, like that's beneath me, man. I don't want to knock doors.
Then quit. If you're not ready to put in the efforts, quit. Yes. That's what it is. You're not supposed to, it's out of your comfort zone. But if you want to be a successful real estate agent, you can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose the success and not, deal with the bad parts. If you're not comfortable with that, quit. Save your money. Stop paying your monthly fees.
I like that. I don't need to bore my listeners with my view on door knocking because they all know I support it 1,000,000%. So I love what you just said there.
No, it's the reality of things. And every time you feel that little thing of, oh, it's not for me, that means it's out of your comfort zone. And every single time you'll do it, you'll grow as a person because it's out of your comfort zone. So instead of using that as, I can't do it, use it as motivation. You know what? I feel icky about this, which means it's out of my comfort zone. So you're going to expand your comfort zone. But if you're not ready to expand your comfort zone, if you're not ready to call the shots, if you're not ready to put in the work or do the things you don't want to do, then you're not, born to be an entrepreneur. You can be taught a few things, but you need to learn to let loose and do those things. Because if not, you're going to be, on doodling your face and, putting ads out there, but it's going to have very little effect. You're not generating leads, good, solid leads.
We've spent a ton of time today talking about how you do so much business. And what I've really taken from you is about being genuine, being real, being who you are, being focused on those things that make you uncomfortable, being focused on those things that you probably don't like to do, not worrying so much about social media, not worrying so much about trying to keep up with the Joneses. but really doing you, believing in yourself and making that work. And I mean, I love the fact that you're a goal setter, and you said you review those weekly, and then there's daily actions. I love and I thank you for bringing up the idea of manifestation and understanding what it is you want. Are you a guy that also does like gratitude journaling?
100%.
See, likewise, like daily. It's a nightly thing for me. And I know there's a lot of people right now kind of rolling their eyes at us and thinking woo woo and thinking all this stuff. But this is the issue, is that you don't believe, if you're doing that right now, you haven't done it before. I guess that's the thing. Like, it's not that you don't
happen overnight.
That's the other thing, is that you've got to just do it, and you will see it start to come to life. And when it does come to life, you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this before.
But once you see, it's like planting a tree, right?
Oh.
You're going to put the grain in, and the next day you're going to see, or a week later, not a single thing will be out of there. And so this is bullshit. People are saying that this is bullshit. They already made it. They can't do that. But you need to keep watering that seed. But once you see that tree planting, you realize, holy shit, this is real, and I can do that.
Powerful, man. Powerful. So Jeremie, tell me this. The day is over. You finished your day. You've gone through. You've done a whole bunch of great stuff. You've probably had problems just like the rest of the world has. How do you know that it's been a successful day for you?
Did I do any actions that helped improve my business or myself during the day? If the answer is yes, then yes, I'd rather take one step forward than 2 steps back. And people, you can't necessarily measure within a day, because you can't have 2-3 bad days and get the third day's one of the most amazing in the month, and you surpass what you would have done in 2 good days. So it's really just, a mindset is, what did I do today? And did I benefit from it, or did I help someone? Oftentimes, like I said, it's not just money-wise. It's not a deal. It's not necessarily a career. It's not necessarily a new client. It's friendship. It's much more than just this. I've had good days where, I can pay for someone's grocery at the grocery store, and I say, well, no, it was a good day because it was a good day for her or him.
Mm-hmm. Audience, everybody, all my regular listeners, and I thank you all for all tuning in. For you brand new listeners, we air this show live almost every Wednesday, but we do syndicate an episode every Friday. So please come back and tune in. And I want everybody to understand, and Jeremie, so that is the almost 222nd time I asked that particular question. And once again, the answer had nothing to do with money. Nothing to do. Success did not equate to how much money any of our guests, including yourself, Jeremie, have made at the end of the day. So I thank you for keeping our batting average at 1,000 on that one. But it's a testament, to what success really is all about for many people. So give me some final words, anything that you want to share with anybody. And listen, man, you've been awesome. I love the mindset. I really do. And you and I hadn't spoken prior to this. Again, I was told by somebody, you've got to be here. I'm glad that you came on. I love the mindset that you've got, brother. And I think that is obviously where the success continues to come from for you. Give me some final words for anybody that's tuned in right now, that, for them to go out there, build the mind share so they could get some more market share. Just parting words for our audience today.
Be yourself. That's the only thing. Stop acting. The greatest gift you can give to yourself is being true to yourself, being yourself. And for, obviously some people are tied up with career, success, etc., and back to money. Listen, money is a byproduct of the good you do.
I like that.
It doesn't come anywhere else but from the efforts and the good you do. So a lot of people need to change their mentality of money is everything to what deeds can I do to help others that will in turn grant me that byproduct.
Well, Jeremie, I thank you. I thank you for making the time today. I thank you for joining me on the Mindshare podcast, and I thank you for helping every single one of our listeners take themselves to the next level. So once again, a big thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle, our 31-page ebook, including your free 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual momentum training, just get in touch with me. We'll set up a consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve, and how we will help you do just that. Don't forget to leave a review of this podcast at www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101 and connect with me on Facebook at mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. I want to thank Kits Keep in Touch Systems, Gray Media, and REM Real Estate Magazine for sponsoring the Mindshare podcast. Be sure to visit our site to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.